Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm Jules, if you wanna know.
Clocking on my left, that bitch on my right, Finna spark this blunt, finna have a time. You like it aggressive, baby, what's your sign? Ain't no misbehaving when I get behind. She know she the flyest, hoes ain't in her lane. Freaking on the low, she signed that NDA. Said you pulling up, what's your ETA? Beat that pussy up, I'm talking BTA. I can't even hold you, girl, you know you fine. You know you the baddest of all time. Kissing on your neck while you put me inside. Yelling out, go deep, but her eyes open wide. Put you in Dior, you feeling like a queen. Different type of car, some shit you ain't seen. Treat you like a trophy, keep you on my team. Got you cutting up, pulling on them sheets. All up in them guts, got me digging deep. Girl who don't get no fuss, that's my type of freak. Let me break you off, let me get a piece. A real one on your side, this ain't no fantasy. Clocking on my left, that bitch on my right. Finna spark this blunt, finna have a time. You like it aggressive, baby, what's your sign? Ain't no misbehaving when I get behind. She know she the flyest, hoes ain't in her lane. Freaking on the low, she signed that NDA. Said you pulling up, what's your ETA? Beat that pussy up, I'm talking BTA. Yeah.
I'm rocking with it.
I'm
rocking with it.
I like that.
I'm rocking with it. Shout out my
That's
main
smooth.
man, Lil Rick, Cincinnati's own 513 underground unsigned artist doing this thing, man. Met this young man and he been showing mad love. I'm gonna get him on the music podcast that I'm doing. I'm adding that on to the back end of things. So let's do it. Let's get it popping. Let's get to business. Welcome to Is the Hype Real Podcast. We go live every Thursday. Make sure y'all drop your love in the comments. Appreciate you, everybody who done pulled up already. Showing mad love to the music. We come over here, we talk live, and we get it popping. We talk about everything under the sun. We got a face on here you haven't seen. We're going to get to that next. And make sure we got some homework. So everybody make sure you do your studying because at the end there will be a test. Yes, there will be a test. All right. So we go live every Sunday, live every Thursday. And I'm going to introduce my main man from Warner Brothers Podcast, Kyle. What's happening, baby? I want to introduce a new face you may not have seen. My main man, Brandon from Warner Brothers Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and enjoy. First off, I'm going to start off with B. What's going on with you, Brandon? Welcome. First time debater. What's going on, sir?
Hey, I appreciate you having me on first and foremost. I'm excited to be here. I look forward to some good debate and some good conversation. Again, I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's all love. Kyle, what's going on? I know I'm going to steal your line. Ready to pod?
Hey, man, ready to pod. Trapping off the iPhone today, and I'm waiting on my DoorDash. So, you might get a sneak peek or, a special guest with a DoorDash delivery right here. So who knows? But
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a little DoorDash. Everybody got to eat, man.
Hey.
most
I'm,
definitely.
before we get down to the gritty, I got a very secret. I have never DoorDashed ever
Damn.
in life.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't know. I have a pizza delivered, but I've never I think it's honestly I think it's too expensive. I think
True.
the overhead for a
It is,
Chipotle
yeah.
burrito, you got to pay like $25. It's outrageous. All right, we're gonna get it popping. Y'all ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do
get
it.
popping.
Will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts, and then you will run a mile. Perfection.
Perfection is what it's all about in sports, and that's what we're gonna talk right now. First off, I gotta hit another button because we got a little breaking news. Uh-oh, the East is in trouble. I don't know if you heard or if you've been under a rock, but my main man Cunningham is going to be down for quite a while. My man lung is deflated. He has a collapsed lung, and I'm not laughing at his pain. I just wanted to see if everybody was locked in. He has a collapsed lung, and there's no telling how long he's going to be down. He is having an amazing season. He's leading the Pistons. He's just an awesome player. He's even in some people's vote for MVP candidate, a dark horse, and a lot of other people's votes. We didn't talk about this on the rundown. I just wanted to kind of throw this out there and just see how we feeling. Now, check your temperature on what we feel the Pistons are going to be capable of without Cade Cunningham. Brandon, first time on, I'm going to start with you. What you got?
All right. So it's definitely interesting. I actually saw a report earlier that said that they hope he could be ready for the playoffs. I know they're taking the Wizards behind the woodshed right now. Last time I checked, I think they were up like 20, but that's Washington, so like who really cares?
That's Kyle's team.
Yeah. Like you kind of expect them to get the belt. I think they have enough to kind of stay afloat. I wouldn't be surprised if they go under 500 going into the playoffs. I know they got Jalen Duren, they got Tobias Harris, like they got some shooters, I guess. But when you lose your best player and your best player by far, like it's obviously hard to overcome. I just hope he's ready come playoffs because if we don't get Cade in the playoffs, then I'm going to be pretty disappointed, especially as what we're assuming is the 1 seed coming out of the East. So it's definitely a huge loss. I don't really think they're going to really stay afloat per se. I think it's kind of hard, obviously, to replace Cade, and I don't think you can do that.
I don't think so either. I think this is going to open up the door for my Cleveland Cavaliers. And what we're going to do is take a stranglehold over the East now because without that massive character, that giant point guard that they have running the show, I don't know who else they really have to step up and do what needs to be done. I worry about them because their offense was already shaky, and they were known for just being tough, gritty, and defensive and slowing other teams down. He was their playmaker. He was their general. And when you lose a guy like that, it just handicaps your team because I don't even know who the backup is, to be honest with you. So I just think they might be done. They might fall out the sky. They're beating the Wizards right now. Kyle calls them the Bullets because they got shooters. I call them the Washington Blanks. So we're gonna see what happens. Kyle, what's your thoughts? Are the Pistons doomed?
You know what? They might fall out of the 1 seed, but honestly, my expectations haven't really changed. I saw this news when I woke up, probably much like everyone else, and I was kind of like, damn, like what's that mean for their season? And then I got on Twitter and I'll look it up in a second. I can't remember the player's name right now, but there was a player a couple of years ago who actually suffered 2 separate collapsed lungs, and he was only out for 3 weeks, which, like Brandon said, 3 weeks will lead us to about playoff time. So they might fall out of the 1 seed, okay. But to be honest with you, they were a second round exit to me, even with Cade. So I expect him to be back for the playoffs, and even if he's in the playoffs, I still got him, winning in the first round. But I think there'll be a second round exit. I don't think they have another creator outside of Cade. I actually think next year, once they keep building this team, because you got to remember this is the second year of a rebuild, right? They had a historically bad season 2 seasons ago, made it to the playoffs last year, gave the Knicks everything they had last year. Now they came back better. Right. Obviously, they're the 1 seed right now. But I expect next year if they have another creator off the whether it's off the bench, whether it's last year they're relying on Malik Beasley. Now they don't even have that, right? It's just Cade out there, really. So I think they'll be better next year, but I think they're a second round exit. Not a fake though, not like a fake, 5-game sweep or 4-game sweep, gentleman sweep type of team. I think they'll give whoever it is 6 or 7 games, but I just don't see them getting it done with only one creator in Cade Cunningham.
Say Cade and the Cadettes.
That's right. Pretty much.
I like it. So we're gonna wrap that one up, but I do think that they're in trouble. I think they're in bigger trouble than what we think. They could actually slide down and mess around being in a play, and it's just not a lot of time left. That's the only thing that's on their side. when it comes to these playoffs that are coming up. So if he's not back by the playoffs, they're a first round exit. It's just that simple. There's no way they're going to be able to keep up with anybody. They can't score, and they're unable to step into that limelight. All right, let's keep it moving. We got some more NBA news. It's been circling around the drain that this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But it seems like it's finally going to come to fruition that we're going to have some new teams popping up. I'm excited about it. I really want to see what's going to happen because I'm a big fan of just the team jerseys and colors alone. That's always been a big thing to me. And that is they're going to have the Seattle Supersonics and the Las Vegas, what is it, the Venom? That's the name that they're going with right now. Yeah, the Las Vegas Venom. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
That's you know, it's you know, it might happen, it might not, but that's the name they got for right now. So my question to you guys is adding these two teams, Vegas and Seattle, in the expansion of the league, is that going to help or hurt the league in the short term? Because I know it'll probably help in the long term because it's all about money. But in the short term, is that going to shake things up too much? Are they going to really actually going to make it worth watching besides having cool colors? If that's what they go with for the Venom. I'll start with B. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay. I think short term, like I agree with what you said. Like obviously you get like the jerseys and stuff like that. I think it kind of adds a whole nother layer to the tanking thing because obviously as an expansion team, like you're not going to be good your first couple of years. I could see it honestly having kind of like a domino effect to where more teams would probably tank. You get what Utah's doing, you know, what the Bucks are trying to do, you know, what a lot of teams have been doing this year, the Wizards. Like, I think a lot more teams that maybe are kind of hovering around the play-in, you know, might start sitting some guys here and there, you know, might have some questionable injuries. Wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I think it helps them ratings-wise. I think having two extra teams, especially Seattle, I know Seattle has been wanting the team ever since the Sonics left originally. Vegas could definitely use a basketball team, especially with the Raiders being there. I know a lot of people love the Raiders. I think mainly the tanking thing is kind of like the whole negative point for me. Other than that, I really think positive. Like it adds potentially more competition. I know not really within the first or second year. You might get more competition between the basement teams. You know, you might have maybe the Venom and the Wizards are duking it out for the first pick. So you might see storylines like that, but I don't hate it. I like adding more teams. We'll have 32 officially, the same amount as the NFL. So I'm here for it. I definitely don't hate the move. The Venom is definitely interesting, though. I don't know how I feel about that.
I thought the same thing. Kyle, I'm going to come to you, but I want to read off some of the things that are going to come along with these expansion teams. They're going to move one of the teams that are in the West to the East. They're thinking either Minnesota or the Grizzlies, which to me, those are they should be in the East already. You know, Minnesota's Midwest and Memphis is totally East. So that's one thing. Also, they get to steal players, except for the exempt players. They get the exempt, I think, like 8 players, and they get to pick a player from each team that they want. They have contract protections. They have player losses. They have lottery odds. Expansion teams are expected to receive favorable odds in the NBA lottery draft, potentially even contending for the #1 overall pick. They can get them a KD like Seattle did originally.
They can.
Salary cap impact. Expansion teams have a lower salary cap for the first 2 years of often have restrictions on their draft position in their first few seasons. These rules are part of the NBA strategy to expand the league and maintain a competitive balance amongst teams. Kyle, Warner Brothers Podcast, very own.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts? Is it going to help, hurt? Is it a good thing? Are you excited? How you feel about these expansion teams?
You could tell me both, that it's both good and bad. I can see the drawbacks from it, and I can see the positives from it. First and foremost, I'm glad to have the Sonics back. Way too long overdue. They should have never gotten taken anyway from Seattle. That's one of the best fan bases you can have in any sport. We see it with the Seahawks. We see it with the Mariners. So I'm glad to have the Sonics back, first and foremost. Is expansion good? Technically, the NBA has the talent for it, for sure. Like, the talent's deep enough. But Brandon knows this, man. I fucking hate the play-in. the play-in tournament. Like, there's no need for it, right? So, what, we're gonna have half the league now playing for the play-in. Now we're gonna have half the league possibly tanking.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. I love the fact the Sonics are back. I think Vegas getting their own NBA team and not like a moving team like the Athletics in baseball
Yeah.
or like the Raiders in football. I think that's better. They support the Aces. I think they'll support this NBA team for sure. So that's dope. Overall, it's dope, but I could see it having some drawbacks for the league for sure. But overall, I think it'll be cool. And I'm glad to have the Sonics back. That's the main thing here.
Yeah, they got some of the flyest jerseys I've ever seen. I really am interested if they're going to go with this color scheme for the Las Vegas Venom. And it's Vegas. That'll just give them another attraction. I would love to have basketball in the Las Vegas Venom as in the in the Las Vegas area that they have their own team. I agree with Kyle on that one. I just wonder how it's really going to play out. I want to see who they're going to get. That's my big thing.
Yeah.
Who are the guys that they're going to pick up from these other teams that aren't protected? Because you can only protect, what is it, 8 players, including restricted free agents? There's a lot of guys with a lot of talents on the second half of their bench, i.e. the Oklahoma City Thunder. They can lose a lot of their talent. The young guys that are just balling and can start in most teams, but they're happy riding the pine in Oklahoma City. And it's just more so who's going to be the GMs, who's going to be the head coaches. These are all questions that are going to be pretty cool to see develop. And the rumor is that LeBron has stake in this Las Vegas team. I don't know if that's true or not, but wouldn't that be pretty cool if can you own a team and play at the same time? Unless you're like Jordan, you own the team you play for? Is that a thing?
I don't think you can, because I'm pretty sure it operates like the NFL, because I remember Brady couldn't have ownership with the Raiders or whoever it was while he was still active.
Okay.
I'd have to imagine that you couldn't. I think maybe because of the integrity of the game, possibly.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I'd have to imagine probably not.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting either way, because I'm just happy to have, like you said, the Celtics back and Celtics. The Sonics back, and I'm also happy to see Vegas get a team. I just want to see how it all plays out, how the divisions switch up, and what goes on from there. All right, we're going to talk about. Oh, got anything to add?
No, just wanted to piggyback off your point. Like OKC, like it could be Topic, it could be maybe they let Alex Caruso go. Like
Dort.
AJ. I mean, yeah, Lou Dort. Like obviously they're not going to let go of AJ Mitchell and McCain, but like.
No.
I mean, like you said, there's tons of guys, like, and even guys probably drafted within the past 2 or 3 years that like they might not necessarily protect these guys.
Maybe some vets that can bring some cohesion to their teams, because you need a vet. You need a vet. I just want to see who they get as coaches, because that'll be, and who's the GM. That'll be what really sets the team apart. Because like my favorite team, the Browns, the front office is they can't figure it out sometimes. So if your front office is trash, it really doesn't matter. You're gonna keep kicking the can down the road. We signed a dude for $250 million guaranteed, and he played like 8 games. So, that's all front office stuff. So we'll see what happens. It should be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go to a sport that I feel myself is a dying sport. It's a sport that is taking hits left and right, and it's gonna be interesting because when I saw this, I said, "Ain't no way." We got a boxing match, y'all. We have a real live, it's an exhibition, but we have a boxing match, and it's going to be in April between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. Either they both really love the sport or they're both really broke. It is one of the two. We got a heavyweight, and we got, what was Floyd, a middleweight?
Middleweight, I think, maybe a welterweight.
Man. Is this even going to be entertaining? Is this going to be something that you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch it because they're the biggest thing in boxing. And boxing, to me, like I said, is a dying sport, unfortunately. There's a lot of young guys and people in the boxing, the true boxing connoisseurs that watch other boxers. But this is what I come to boxing for this. They changed up the rules a little bit. There's no weight limit. It's just whatever limit you want to be. So if Mike Tyson want to come in at 250 pounds, he can come in at 250. It's only an 8-round exhibition fight. They got 2-minute rounds. So other than that, everything else is going to be straight up. Do you think they're actually going to box? Do you think this is another Jake Paul type stunt? And if they actually are going to box, what do you think will be the outcome?
Whew. You know, I saw this and I was kind of with you. Like my reaction to this, it was kind of a head scratcher because I was like, why are we doing this? I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, is this a cash grab?
Right.
Like, surely Floyd doesn't need the money. Like, you hear Floyd Mayweather, like, you think, the guy's loaded. So, like, I kind of ruled that out. I was like, no, maybe the guys are just bored. Maybe they got nothing going on. Maybe it's like, hey, why not? If I'm going to get $10 million, like, I'll go do this fight. Um, to be honest with you, I'm really not expecting much.
Really?
It's, yeah, especially like my thing is after seeing Tyson in the Paul fight, if I wouldn't have seen that, I probably would be more excited than what I am right
That was
now.
fixed. There was
Um,
so many rules. Like they said, he couldn't throw uppercuts. He wasn't allowed to do certain things. If they really are
like
allowed to
they,
fight, like say if they're really allowed to fight, even if it's an
mhm.
exhibition, do you still not expect anything?
If they're really allowed to fight, like if you're throwing elbows, uppercuts, everything, jabs, then I could definitely see both of these guys really going after it, especially Mike Tyson. Like I feel like the whole kind of public persona on him after the Jake Paul fight is kind of like, hey, people were saying, he's washed, like which is expected. He's older. Um, what condition is he in? Like Floyd, we haven't seen Floyd in a while. Like what condition is he in? So it'll definitely be interesting. I think if there's no restraints, no restrictions, I definitely think it could get interesting. Um, then again, I also wouldn't be surprised if it's a snooze fest, but I will definitely tune into it. I'll definitely watch it. Definitely looking forward to it. It's on the calendar, but I really honestly don't know what to expect. It's kind of like one of those things where I kind of want to prepare myself for it to not be something, but also want to prepare myself to like, hey, we might actually get a street fight. Um, so we'll see. Looking forward to it though.
I'm excited and disappointed at the same time, and I'm gonna get into the chat. Chat says, I'm not watching that. The fact we tune into this garbage is why they are fighting. Outcome, waste of time. Yeesh. I kind of understand where he's coming from. I was pulling up the tail of
Yeah.
the tape. Tail of the tape, one's 50. You got Mike 59, Floyd 48. 5'10,
Mm.
5'8. 71-inch reach, 72-inch reach, 59 fights, 50 fights, 50 and 0, you know, 50 and 7, 44 knockouts, 27 knockouts. My whole thing is it's not even really a fight that I could see myself saying, this could be something uh, that could be amazing. Like if all Floyd's going to do is run and all Mike's going to do is throw haymakers.
Yeah.
It's just who gets tired first. you know, who slows down and says, you know what, I'm sick of this. We're just gonna run around the ring for the rest of it. And they're only like what, 3 minute rounds, 2 minute rounds. So it's gonna be over before we know it. I
Yeah, it
don't
won't be
think it's
long.
so it's fun because of the names, but it's not fun because it's not good for the sport. Where are the
Mhm.
real boxers? And Mike Tyson made a comment. He said real boxers don't want to fight anymore. They just want to get paid. So I just wonder, is this going to spice up things? You got your Bud Crawfords, you had your Tank Davises. They're going through their things. They want to fight. They don't want to fight. I just don't even like the sport anymore because there's no mega
Mm.
stars like there once was. Cal, welcome back. What is your take on the Tyson versus Mayweather exhibition fight? 8 rounds, 2 minute rounds, no weight limit.
I'll tell you this, I have no interest in it. I'll probably watch, unfortunately, if I'm bored, but I have no real interest in it. It's almost as stupid as the DoorDash driver who doesn't speak English dropping your shit off at the wrong location. It's almost as stupid as that. So, like I said, I'll probably watch it, maybe, depending on what's the date on this? It's next month, correct? It's in
It
April.
is April 25th.
And Floyd's got two other fights after that, which
And right
is
now, Tyson was seen in the cast, but he said he's not pushing the fight back.
yeah, I mean, look, we just seen Mike fight Jake Paul, and that was terrible. That was the biggest waste of an hour of my life. I don't really. It'll be a little better with Floyd because it's Floyd Mayweather, but overall, these fights are stupid, and they kind of drag boxing down.
They do.
Um,
I agree.
but we do have some good matchups coming up this summer in boxing. Um, they're not household names, but they're going to be good fights, you know. So yeah, I'd like to see Bud back in there. I'd like to see, you know, Tank and Ryan Garcia again or something like that. But we still got some good fights. But in the meantime, you got to deal with the bullshit with Floyd and Tyson. So
This fight is going to draw more viewers than any Jake Paul fight, than any Bud Crawford fight, than any Tank Davis fight,
it's true.
any Ryan Garcia fight.
It's true.
Yeah, it will.
So that's why I say it sucks for the sport, but it's really good for the sport if you think about it. It puts boxing back on the pedestal of, you know, the gladiator sport when you got to bring out the OGs to really throw on the gloves. And it's in the Congo. It's the Thriller in Manila.
That's right. Same ring too as Thriller Manila.
That thing's going to break down. It's like 100 years old.
Straight up. Straight up.
That thing's not going to make it. So, final thoughts. I want people to pick winners.
What topics I missed, by the way?
You didn't miss much. You showed up right on time. Yeah, you didn't miss much. We went right into this. So I want your winner while you look for your DoorDash food. Who you got? What's the outcome? Because you look like you're living in the land of the lost out there.
Man, I'm not happy. I'm keeping it together for the pod right now, but your boy's not happy. Winner, I got to go with Floyd. He's younger. He's in shape. Like he stays in the gym. He's still like training. He's still boxing. So I'll go with Floyd. But I think it's going to be boring. It's going to be super boring.
Brandon, who you got? Or the outcome in general?
I'm also going to go with Floyd. To your point earlier, I think he's really going to try to evade Mike Tyson as much as he can. He'll try to throw some jabs in there, play defensive boxing, typical Floyd Mayweather boxing. I think it'll come down to a decision. I'm not really expecting a knockout on either end. I really don't think either of these guys are going for that at this point. I think it comes down to a decision, and I think Floyd wins. I think you see another thing, kind of like another spectacle, like, wow, Mike Tyson really shouldn't be in the ring. It's kind of what I'm expecting.
Okay, I'm going to go against the grain here a little bit. If Mike Tyson is able to really let them hands go, for the first 3 rounds, he going to be a problem for Floyd Mayweather.
Shit.
Because then he's going to get tired after that. But for the first 3 rounds, he's going to be trouble. And wouldn't it be something to see? You talk about a spectacle. If Floyd Mayweather gets knocked out, it wouldn't count against his record because it's an exhibition. So he'd still be undefeated.
Found the DoorDash, though.
Man, did he put it next to a rock? Is that a tree?
It's something. I don't know what the fuck this nigga did, but he put the shit.
He said, "Come get your food, buddy."
That shit's gonna be cold.
But I think if Mike Tyson, he's the puncher's chance, and going against a bigger guy, almost 100 pounds heavier, is a problem for any man, let alone somebody who is trained in the art of boxing. So if Mike Tyson can really let them hands go for the first 3 rounds, he can land a punch to knock out Floyd. And I think maybe Floyd fights a little different because it doesn't count towards his record, and it is just an exhibition. It's just friendly fire. So his record, he's in his head, his record is unblemished. So I'm taking Mike if they can really fight for real. Because there's no rules about what you can and can't do as far as boxing. It's just the shorter rounds. And if Mike know he got 2 minutes in a round, why not go all out? It's not the full length. I'm gonna try to kill him just to prove a point. Maybe get another exhibition rematch. I knocked out y'all undefeated champion. He's supposed to be the greatest boxer ever. My main man Brian put us an episode of Dancing with the Stars. That is insane. That is cold-blooded. I'm not mad at you, but I definitely think I give them a little bit more credit than that if they're actually able to fight. All right, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to get into some NFL. It's 2 segments. We got a new one that I want to try out. But first, I just want to ask, and I want your answers. And you can just give me one team. One team. Cal will be back. He got to make sure his food is right. Not only did he find it, they might have given him the wrong stuff. He would be upset. He would be upset. Really they gave me the goddamn wrong food. He gonna flip out.
That should be cold too, cold and the wrong food.
I hope you ain't order French fries. It's over with. Okay, what team in the NFL? What team has the most to prove?
tracked it down. I tracked it down.
He tracked
I got it one way or another.
I'm gonna
Track
bring
it
up
down.
last year's playoffs, and we could even go with the playoff teams because these are the teams that were in the dance. I'll even give you a selection. So that, and if you want to give an honorable mention, you can. Which one of these playoff teams, besides the Super Bowl champions, and even them, have the most to prove next year? B, go ahead.
I'm going to say Buffalo. And it's a cliche answer. We say this year after year, but it's got to happen. Josh Allen's got to get one eventually. Like, if it doesn't happen next year, especially you traded for DJ Moore, you've got James Cook. You're going to have a good defense. Hopefully, they're going to be healthy. They brought in Bradley Chubb. Defense should be good. Offense, DJ Moore opens up everything for Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid. Honestly, it should open even more running lanes for James Cook as well, too.
Agreed.
Because now you can spread a defense out. Now you've got a bona fide number one target, a wide receiver one. Vertical passing game should help out Josh Allen a lot. You're not relying on Keon Coleman. You're not relying on Josh Palmer. Guys who are really just wide receiver threes. Good players, but they're not wide receiver ones or twos. My question is for Josh Allen, if it's not now, then when is it?
True.
We've been saying this the past couple of years. We don't know if Mahomes is playing next season. He's got the knee injury. Some people are saying, yeah, he could play next season. Some people are saying, maybe not. Does he come back? How does rehab go? Travis Kelce's going to be 37. If you're looking at that list there, like New England, do we really think New England gets back to that point next season? I don't. I think it was a flash in the pan. Jacksonville, I'm a Jaguar fan. I think Jacksonville will be back in the playoffs, but I don't really see us contending for the AFC or for a Super Bowl. The Chargers, they're the Chargers. Pittsburgh, we don't know about the quarterback situation. Houston has a CJ Stroud problem. The defense is going to be elite. As long as they're healthy, we know that. But again, when you have CJ Stroud at quarterback, you got a big problem there. Denver looks very good, especially after trading for Jalen Waddle. But it's definitely Buffalo because you put Josh Allen in those top 2, top 3 quarterbacks. Like eventually you got to go out there and you got to win one. You got to make more plays than the other team. Like there's no excuses. Like you got to go get it done. So that's the team for me. They're going to be under a big microscope for me coming this season.
Okay. Cap, what team has the most to prove next season or this upcoming season?
Yeah, you can't really argue with what Brandon said. You can always kind of throw the Bills and the Ravens in there, especially after firing their head coaches after successful seasons, right? Ravens didn't have a successful season, but, they had excuses at least. Bills had a successful season up until the postseason. You could have made cases for them bringing their coaches back. One team I would say is the Chargers. This is year 3 of Jim Harbaugh with Justin Herbert. First year, you could say it's the honeymoon stage. Second year, they were banged up. They were banged up the entire year last year. You could argue if they were completely healthy, maybe they play with New England in that wild card weekend game. The fact that it's year 3, I like what they did in free agency. They got the draft coming up, obviously. You've got an elite head coach, and you've got a quarterback who, some would say is elite, and some would say he's not elite because he doesn't produce in the playoffs. And he's probably, honestly, the most polarizing quarterback outside of Lamar and Josh Allen, if not the most polarizing. So I would say the Chargers, and then Brandon mentioned them, and I got to put them in here too, the Texans. He said they have a CJ Stroud problem. Man, the fact that he has looked average since his rookie season and everything else on that team as far as the defense goes is elite. The receivers need help. Running game needs help. Offensive line needs help. But there's enough there to win. They got an elite head coach, I would say. For me, it's the Texans and the Chargers in the AFC. And you could convince me of the NFC being the Niners, honestly. But Chargers and Texans come to mind first.
Respect. I like both of those choices. I'm going to go a little bit off the cusp. I'm a stand on hill, die on hill type of fella. So I think who has the most to prove, honestly, is the New England Patriots. They went out there, dominated all season. The pass game looked crazy. the crowning of Drake May by myself and many others of one of the top tier quarterbacks was given. He surpassed what everybody thought he was going to be, but just being real about it and just being transparent, they did have a losing schedule they were going against. They went against a lot of non-playoff teams. They were not fighting uphill the entire time. They got the coast, and then when they got to the playoffs, things kind of went kaputski for everybody, except for the defense that showed up and was phenomenal. My other team that I feel has a lot to prove, and before I get into that, I'm gonna get into the chat. My main man D pulled up. Appreciate you pulling up. He said the Ravens have the most to prove. And he said, and the Cowboys defense has the most to prove, not my guy Dak. He's a big Dak Prescott advocate. He says Dak is top 5 in the league. I don't agree, but to each his own. And my other team that I feel has the most to prove, even though they did very well, is the Chicago Bears. They won a lot of games, one-score games. When the Chiefs were winning one-score games, everybody said, oh, how long can they sustain this? Is this really going to be a thing? Is this something that can really happen? Are they going to be able to compete and do the same thing next year? They lost DJ Moore. Now, I will say their leading receiver, unbeknownst to a lot of people, was Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland, the rookie, led them in receiving yards. Roma Dunze disappeared. DJ Moore picked up the slack, and their run game with Monangai was absolutely incredible. They lost their center, so they are not sitting pretty just going into the next year with a fully loaded clip. So they have a lot more to prove than what people give them credit for. They just crowning them that they're going to be good next year, and I don't think that's the thing. There's going to be a lot of their division is top 3 hardest division in football, maybe even top 2. With all those teams up there, you think it's number 1? I think
them in the AFC West.
Minnesota took such a step back. Even with Kyler Murray, I don't know. I gotta see it. And Green Bay, is Jordan Love even really good?
Ooh.
Is he?
That's a question.
I think so. Is he great? Is the question. I think he's good. Is he great?
There's a lot of talent over there, and he can't get it done, man.
I agree.
And then you got the Chiefs. You said in the West, they're not going to do much. The Broncos, huge pickup of Waddle. That blew my mind when that happened. I said, they're trying to win right now. But mines are the New England Patriots and the Chicago Bears. And I want to see if they can have that repeated success when they're actually going against more winning teams here in this upcoming season. So it's
you sound like me during the season. You sound like me during the season, John. That's my team, and you're all like, nah, you being a hater.
Hey, you knew where I was during the season. I was rooting for Drake May. I still got his card up on the mantle. The rookie.
Brandon, if you don't know, John might be a bigger Drake May fan than Keenan somehow. Like that's our team. Keenan was big on Drake May. Like John came out of nowhere with his love for Drake May. Like week 4, week 5, it was like, you would have swore
Drake May advocate.
You would have no idea that he's a Cleveland Browns fan, the way he loves Drake May.
Yes, you would. Stop that. But Drake May is that dude, man.
It's like Skip Bayless and Tim Tebow damn near.
Oh, God.
It might be. The bromance might be that deep. I'm just saying. The chat tapped in. They say Houston CJ has to show up for that defense. That's scary. Yeah. What do they do to help him show up for that defense? I do blame it on their line. Their line was trash. So if he can show up, they do have a lot to prove because they're winning games in spite of him throwing 22 picks a game. And so it's just going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. With that defense, you should win a lot more games. But I could say the same thing about the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to Cleveland. All right, let's keep it moving. I have a new segment, and I lost my notes. Let me pick my notes up. The new segment is past versus present. So, I wish Keenan was here. I really do. Because he praises this man as if he could walk on water with cinder blocks for shoes. And I do not agree. I do not think he is that guy. So, the past versus present, I want to ask, will Joe Burrow be this generation's version of Dan Marino. Will he get the team to the big game and never make it back and just put up a lot of gaudy stats but never really be able to make it over the hump? I want to go with Brandon. I want to hear what he has to say about this. You know Keenan's bromance with Joe Burrow. All too well, probably.
I do. And I'm going to keep it $150 with you. I'm right there with Keenan, too. I love Joe Burrow. Love Joe Burrow. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stick to the point that I made last week on the podcast. I think it was last week. I think Joe Burrow does get a Super Bowl. I think all it comes down to is Cincinnati fixing that defense. I think if you give him a league average defense, I think he gets it done. I mean, they've got the worst pass defense. They got like the number 30 rushing defense. They've got no pass rush now, especially with Trey Hendrickson gone. That was your only pass rusher. You didn't really replace him. So good luck with that. I mean, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins. They got Andre Yoshivas, who I think is a pretty good wide receiver 3.
He's
Chase
decent.
Brown's a really good running back. Yeah,
a decent 3.
like Chase Brown's a good running back. The O-line definitely leaves something to be desired. Definitely could have better O-line play. They got a lot of young guys, though. They took Mims out of Georgia in the first round. He should be a good player for them. If he's healthy, if they can keep Joe Burrow upright, if they fix that defense, I really do think that it's going to be a problem for the league. I do think he's going to put up gaudy stats, but you could definitely sell me on him being Dan Marino, because if they don't fix that defense, or if Cincinnati's ownership just says, hey, you know what, we're not going to spend money, we're going to operate like we've been operating the past 5 years or so, and not really spend on that side of the ball, maybe not keep homegrown talent, because let's not forget, they had Jesse Bates at one point in time. They had a really good secondary, obviously pass rushers. They let some guys go on offense too. At one point in time, a lot of people forget they were playing the Rams in the Super Bowl, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago? So
AFC Championship games. They were in there. They were in a fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they let the defense go. And now you're flirting with 9-8, 8-9, even with Joe T and Jamar healthy. So I could definitely see a world where he's Dan Marino, but I'm going to say no. And a lot of it is more so me hoping that they fix the defense, hoping that he gets there, because I do want to see Joe Burrow win 1, maybe 2.
Okay. Kyle, is Joe Burrow this generation's Dan Marino?
He could be. He could be. If you hear people talk about Dan Marino, they say how his organization didn't surround him with a defense. Like Brandon just said, that's exactly what's going on in Cincinnati, on top of the offensive line, which I think is the bigger issue, is the offensive line. If they can at least get league average defense or a good DC, the fact that you're 8-9 in the AFC North, 9-8, going back and forth with that, you can compete just with a league average defense. You got to protect him, though. The fact that he's getting injured every year is a product of their offensive line. So the real question is here, yeah, he could be Dan Marino, absolutely, especially if he's in Cincinnati. We've talked about this. Brandon knows this. We've talked about this on the pod. If he has a second act, much like Matt Stafford, somewhere else,
right?
Why couldn't he win? He's as good as any quarterback in the league, especially
That's
from the
fair.
pocket. He's probably the best pocket QB in the league. But hey,
Whoa.
from the pocket, just from the pocket, not strictly QB, just from the pocket.
He ain't better than
Dropping
Matthew
back.
Stafford.
Hey, that's fair enough too. Stafford's right there as well. But look, the AFC North kind of got weaker. I mean, we'll see what really happens over, the course of the draft. But, John, I don't know if you think like the Cleveland Browns are actually going to compete this year.
Absolutely.
But, the Browns are the Browns. Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
I would still say they're batting clean up in that division, but you got the Browns there. I would say the Steelers got worse
Would you like
without
to make
Tomlin.
a small a wager on that? We're going to talk about this.
I'd love to. I love me a bet. I love me a bet.
We're cleaning up with the mop at the bottom of the basement.
We'll see. We'll see after the draft. I'm not no Browns hater.
You want to wait till the draft and then
Wait till the draft. We got to see what the roster looks like, right? We got to see if old man Aaron Rodgers is coming back too. But
I'm a witness to this, by the way.
That's true. We've had, speaking of Keenan, we've had some spirited debates about bets that maybe someone, the other half of the Warner Brothers podcast hasn't owned up to. So I think Brandon missed that episode actually. But yeah, man, I mean, it's 50-50 with the Bengals. They really, like we just said, offensive line, defense, they just got to be a legit organization and take this Hall of Fame level quarterback that they have and support him. If they can do that, yeah, they're gonna have at least a puncher's chance. They're at least gonna be in the mix every year. But if they keep neglecting the offensive line, yeah, he probably will end up like Dan Marino.
Absolutely. I think he is Dan Marino. That's just my opinion. I I don't have this love fest with Joe Burrow that everybody else does. If you take away Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow. If you just take away Jamar Chase and leave T. Higgins, Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow.
Who is he without them?
Without them, he's Andy Dalton. Above average quarterback that can be serviceable. Because when you got a guy, like, I think it's in the talent. Why do you think they pay so much for these guys? Because they know without them, he's not going to be as high of an impact player as he could. He doesn't really run. He has legs, they say, but he doesn't really run. He doesn't have a bazooka for an arm. His claim to fame for being Joe Burrow is being one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever. His passing rating is the highest ever in NFL history. It's very important. But when you make statements like, just throw it up, Jamar's down there somewhere, does that really speak to how accurate you are? Or is that receiver really just that good? Come on.
Counterpoint. I mean, I would say any team who thinks they have a franchise QB, they should be surrounding them with that level of talent.
Touche.
At least one target, because the offensive line truly is the secret sauce to all this. But you at least got to have, whether it's a running back or a receiver or a tight end, you got to have that one guy that's like, all right, hell or high water, I can throw it and he's going to catch it or he's going to make some sort of play.
That's fair.
So I have no problem with that. I don't necessarily. I'm not like Keenan and Brandon when it comes to Joe Burrow, but I do recognize his skill. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's Andy Dalton without these receivers. Though it does make you wonder, what does he look like without them? Because he has had this talent around him his entire career.
I don't know. I know a franchise quarterback that two of them actually that lived in New England that looked pretty good without any wide receivers really. Tom Brady had a tight end, but other than that, having 1 year with Randy Moss, who did he really have? Drake May. No, unless you're a real football fan, you can't name his wide receivers.
No.
Okay, even Patrick Mahomes, when he lost Tyreek Hill, all you can name was Kelsey. It was Kelsey and the Kelceyettes, and Patrick Mahomes. That's all you had.
Thing all those teams had though was an offensive line. Yeah. Peyton had guys too.
Peyton was a franchise. Well, we could say they had a generational quarterback. They're like one of the guys that are just great no matter.
The greatest quarterback of all time, even you could say.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that at all. I think that's one of the GOAT talks I will never argue. He might be the greatest football player of all time. That's a hard pill for people to swallow, but he might be that guy. Chat chimed in. They said about Joe Burrow, if he stays with Cincy, yes. AFC is really good and it's not getting any easier in their own division. So if he stays with Cincinnati, he's going to be Dan Marino. That's what the chat's speaking on right now. All right, I got another past versus present. My segment, past versus present. Besides Joe Burrow, we'll go to another quarterback, and I'm interested to see. I'm gonna start off with you, Brandon. I want to know what your thoughts are. Okay. We're gonna go West Coast. We did some East Coast. We did some local state. I want to go straight West Coast, and we're gonna go team for team, quarterback versus quarterback. Is Justin Herbert this generation's version of Phillip Rivers?
I'm going to say yes.
Ooh.
There's a lot. I'm starting to see a lot of similarities. So everybody knows Phillip Rivers statistically was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL year after year after year. There's never a question. He never made an All-Pro, but he did make 8 Pro Bowls. Always put up the gaudy stats. You always saw 4,000 yards, 35 plus touchdowns.
Easy.
But it never amounted to anything during the postseason. No. And you're starting to see something with Justin Herbert. you got the passing yards, you got the passing touchdowns, you got the regular season wins, but then you play the Texans and you throw 4 picks.
Yeah, right. One of the best defenses in the league, by the way. This be a little fair.
It's definitely one of the best, probably the best defense. But
Probably.
you know, for a guy as good as, you know, I think Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. I think a lot of people think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I think he's got a lot of talent. But for you to be,
Is he top 10?
I would put him in the top 10.
Okay.
Personally, I would. But my point is, for a top 10 quarterback, you go out, you can't throw 4 picks in a playoff game. You know, you can't look as bad as what you did in that game. And this is a common thing. The Jaguar game. You were up 35, 28-3, whatever it was. Then you just, you know, you pull an Atlanta Falcon, and then, you know, either you take your foot off the gas or, like, you know, whatever. You know, and you give the game to Jacksonville. You come out in the second half, you start throwing picks. Like, it's Phillip Rivers reincarnated in a different body. That's how I see it. Like, and if something doesn't change, if it happens again this year, if they make the wild card or like the divisional and they get bounced again, then like this dude's 100% Phillip Rivers to me.
100%. Jeez. I want to chime in real quick. I'm honestly starting to drink the Kool-Aid. I think the hype is real that he's definitely Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, statistically, if you wanted to put him up there with some of the greater quarterbacks or the top quarterbacks, he's up there. He has stats. That's not the problem. Phillip Rivers, when he came in the league, he led them after the Eli Phillip Rivers trade, the whole I'm not playing for San Diego debacle. He came in and led them to a 14-2 record. 14-2 record. He threw for 22 touchdowns. The next year he went 13-3. He led the league in interceptions in 2014. So he's like up and down, hot or cold. He's got that sidearm delivery. It's funky out there. Justin Herbert, offensive rookie of the year. He came in and he's led his team to the playoffs a couple times and just falling apart. They even got one of the people considered one of the better coaches in any phase of the game, college or professional. And he still can't get it done. They switched to more of a running game. Then they opened him up and unleashed him. And he looked good in the regular season. He looked amazing. It's definitely giving me Phillip Rivers vibes. I just see it. And that's what made me even think, like, you hate to say it, but when the writing's on the wall, you got to read the letters. Kyle, what you got?
Yeah.
It's interesting because though they played for the same franchise, Rivers had not a weird career. Like, he was always either borderline very good to like almost elite, depending on the season. They even had I think they had a 15-1 with him. Definitely a 14-2, but I think they might have even had a 15-1. I could be wrong about that. But, you know, early on in his career, he had Antonio Gates. Really throughout his whole career, he had Gates. He had LT early. He had Sean Merriman on defense.
You okay.
Yeah.
He had a lot of guys. And with him, really, it wasn't that like he wasn't performing early on in his career. He might run into the Patriots. In 2007, when the Patriots were undefeated, he played with a torn ACL. So, like, you can't question Phillip Rivers' toughness. Like, Charger fans swear by Phillip Rivers. They love him like he's Peyton Manning. You know what? I almost think the correct comparison for Justin Herbert, and I know this ain't football, Herbert almost reminds me more of Joel Embiid, where it's like, it's always something. You can't really say it's his fault. You can't really say it's the franchise's fault either, but it's always something, no matter what, whether it's injuries to him, whether it's injuries to another player on his team, another key player on his team. In his case, you know, the defense. In Joel Embiid's case, it's friggin' Ben Simmons forgetting how to play basketball. And then, like, you know, through his best stretch of his career, all of a sudden getting injured. It's always something with Herbert. But again, that's kind of why I had them in the team that has the most to prove, because I think this is really the year we can really hone in on them. They have no excuse, right? Sure, they got a tough division, but so don't the Broncos, so don't the Chiefs, so don't the Raiders. Like, they got to deal with it. They've got arguably the best coach in the division, depending on the day, honestly. There's no excuses for him this year. So Rivers is almost too specific. I do see where you guys are going with it, with that comparison, because Rivers did lose a lot of big games too, but I almost feel like he played well in those big games. It just didn't happen for him, you know? Whereas Herbert, is, sometimes coughing up these games. Like y'all said, 4 turnovers in a game. So Herbert to me is almost more like Joel Embiid, to flip the question a little bit. But that's why, like, I cannot wait to see what this season comes about for them, because there's no excuses. I don't care about any injuries. Like, Herbert's got to be that dude. Because funny enough, speaking of Joe Burrow, in football circles, that's like what Embiid Jokic was one time. Justin Herbert versus Joe Burrow. Like, there's people out there who swear to God
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is better than Joe Burrow. Like, that's a real argument in like nerd football circles. So um this is the year for Justin Herbert. If he can't produce, or if he can't at least get to the divisional round and be the reason why they're in the divisional round, I'll co-sign with y'all that he's not that dude. I'll give Philip Rivers a little more of respect because he's won some games and he's tough as hell. But yeah, if he can't get it done this year, if he can't at least win one playoff game, I'll probably be off the Herbert train, to be
I'll
honest with you.
take that bet. That's 2 of them we can bet on. We're gonna figure it out. He's not making it out the first round, bro. He's
Okay.
I do
Before
not.
the draft even happens, he's not making it. All right, I got you.
I don't
I
think
got
so.
you.
I don't think so.
I
They
got
lost a
you.
lot of guys, but we'll get to football talk later. We're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna get into our United Entertainment section. We're gonna wrap that up. I appreciate everybody for tapping in on the chat. Make sure you like, subscribe, and enjoy. Warner Brothers podcast. My main man Brandon, main man Kyle. Shout out Keenan, and make sure y'all like, subscribe, and enjoy. It's the Hyper Podcast. Let's keep it moving.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
All right, are you not entertained? In this segment, we go ahead and we name our tops, whether it be top 5, top 3, top 10 is a little too much. Ain't nobody got time for all that. We're going to go top 3 this week. Over our past couple weeks, we went with top 3 Midwest, top 3 East Coast artists, and that's any artist, top 3 South, and top 3 West Coast. Brandon, I wish you would have I would love to have you on there for one of those, but we're going to have you back on here for some other cool stuff. This week, we're going with the top 3. We're going to stick with Midwest. The top 3 Kanye West albums. And I asked, what are the top 3 Kanye West albums? Kanye West has an album that's coming out. It's supposed to drop March 27th, Bully. It's supposed to be, that's when it's supposed to come out. He pushed it back already. So hopefully this time around he go ahead and do what he's supposed to do, because I love me some Kanye. I think he's very talented. So we're going to do our round robin. And I want everybody to go ahead and tell me who they got as their top 3 Kanye album. There's no order unless you already have one from 3 to 1. You can just give them to me off the top. Cal, I'm on the top. I'm going to start with you. Give me your Kanye West album.
I like the draft soundbite. First of all, bro, I didn't even realize like March 27th is next week.
Yes.
So let's see if this really happens. Kanye is known for delaying, but he's kind of stuck to this March 27th date. So let's see if this actually happens. I'll start just because I mentioned this album last week in the top 3 Midwest. So there'll be some continuity there. College Dropout. If you were tuning in last week, you'd hear me say like how well produced that album is, which every single Kanye album is. But this is such a Midwest grassroots album. It's such a nice original sound. It's so soulful. And again, like I said last week, the 3 singles off this, they had the workout plan too, but they had Jesus Walks, Through the Wire, and All Falls Down. Those are your singles. And even if those were just album cuts, those would be amazing. That's not even me mentioning the album cuts, which
Album cuts was crazy.
Family Business, Goddamn Spaceship,
2 words.
2 words. Oh my God, 2 words is underrated. Like there's so much on that album, and it's a super long album. Don't get me wrong. Like that was kind of the thing back in the day, but a certified classic. Certified classic.
I'm gonna piggyback. You took one of my albums, but you said enough about it. I'm just gonna say that's one of mine too. That was when I got introduced to Kanye. I lost my mind. I said, "Yo, who is this guy and why is he amazing?" I used to walk around with a backpack. Like I thought I was Kanye. I did.
Polos and backpacks.
I was a Kanye. I was like the disciple. I was the disciple. Shut up, dog. I was a disciple. So yes, I got you on that. Brandon, what you got?
All right, so I'm gonna go. We're going from 3 to 1, right?
Your choice. You go 3 to 1, or you can go to any order.
Okay, so I'll give you my beautiful dark twisted fantasy.
Mm.
That personally is one of my favorite albums from Kanye, and honestly, it might be one of my favorite albums. Period. Um, I mean, there's hits
It
top to
hits.
bottom. Power, All the Lights, Monster. The feature list is good. Obviously, Jay Z, Rick Ross, Nicki Minaj, So Paul, Jay Z, Pusha T, Swizz
Mm.
Beats, RZA, Devil in a New Dress with Rick Ross, Runaway with Pusha T. Um, couple, I mean, I don't really think there's filler tracks on here. It's a shorter album for Kanye. It's 13 tracks. But it is one of those ones that I go back to from time to time. And sometimes I listen to it from track 1 to track 13. Sometimes I go and pick specific songs. But it's definitely one of my favorite Kanye albums.
That's unfortunately you're picking all my albums, man. So that you're 2 for 2. So that I'm already off the board. This was an album that I love sonically. I've never heard a bad Kanye West album sonically. Like all of them are pleasing to the ear, one way or the other.
Mhm.
But he has songs on there that were absolutely just all summer long. That's what I played. Devil in the Blue Dress. I mean, Blue Dress. Devil in a New Dress. As soon as that comes on, it just puts you in a mindset. Ross
Yep.
went off, So Paul, Monster, All of the Lights, Blame Game. When he just switched, oh my god, Hell of a Life. I
Mm.
love that album. I'm a so, but I'm a I'm a Kanye disciple, so it's kind of unfair for me to even be speaking on that. Cal, what you got?
Real quick, earlier in the day, I thought my beautiful dark twisted fantasy would be on this list, and it's not in
Yes.
my top three. I played that album out when it first dropped. Matter of fact, I was playing Devil in a New Dress yesterday. That Ross verse, like, lower my
Looking
casket.
in
I
my
don't actually.
vision,
I
looking
don't
for
want to
the
be
looking
buried.
for. Man,
I don't want to be buried, but at my funeral, like, play that Ross verse at some point. Like that'll be my send off because that's one of my favorite verses of all time.
oh,
Um,
That's a very good
right,
verse.
it's a very
straight
good
up.
verse.
So like as I'm talking, I'm surprised it's not in my top three, but I go back and forth between my beautiful dark twisted fantasy and then this album that I'm about to name, Life of Pablo, which I did not like when it first came out. Um, it's turned into an iconic Kanye album for me, honestly. It's probably my favorite album cover of his, to be honest with you. It's one of my favorite eras of Kanye, and I did not feel that way in the moment because this was also like kind of peak Kanye Kardashian. I used to call him at this time, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
not with the Kanye wave. And then maybe about a year later, like I'd obviously heard the music, but once I really started to listen to this album, I fell in love with it. And I would say over the last 3 or 4 years, I've gone back to this album more than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And I probably agree with you guys that My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is better than this album, but this has more replay value to me lately. Ask me in 2 weeks, ask me next year, I might have a completely different answer. But
Right.
right now, I got Life of Pablo.
Okay.
Okay.
Pete, what you got?
I'm gonna give you Late Registration.
I
Um,
like it. I like it.
Probably my favorite, if not one of my favorites. Drive Slow with Paul Wall. That's one of my favorite Kanye songs ever. I
Man.
love that
Yep.
song. I can play that anytime I'm in the car, and I'll have a smile on my face the whole time. I'll sing it word for word. Obviously, one of his biggest songs of all time, Gold Digger with Jamie Foxx. Everybody knows that song. If you want to pick a song off of that album, the most popular song, that's probably what it is. Touch the Sky with Lupe Fiasco is a great song. Diamonds from Sierra Leone with Jay Z.
Mm.
Oh
Again,
man.
probably one
Amazing.
of my favorite Kanye tracks too. That track is amazing.
Diamonds are forever.
Um, We Major with Nas. Nas on a Kanye album. Nas and
Sleeper track.
Kanye doesn't get big time sleeper track. A
Sleeper
lot of
track.
people don't. I feel like a lot of people don't listen to that. Obviously, you got the skits, crack music with the game, with the younger
Underrated.
version of the game. Another
Roses.
underrated song. Roses,
Oh my god,
amazing
that song broke
song.
my heart every time I listen to it. I know it's past visiting hours, but can I please bring you these flowers?
Hey Mama, that's a again another great one. That's one that really that'll speak to you.
That was
Um,
this generation's version of the Tupac "Dear Mama." Like he brought it for
Yep.
the newer generation that could relate
Absolutely.
more to it. And that song, I forgot that song was even on this album. I know the song back and forth, but I might have to switch up my pick hearing all these songs he's naming off because this is my childhood
Straight
again
up.
right now.
It it's one of those albums where I could pick pretty much any song and put it on, and I'm just like I love it. Like
Yes.
it, tons of replay value. Like I said, Drive Slow was probably one of my more played songs. Period.
Boom,
But I
boom,
mean,
boom.
there's 10 to 12 on here that I can throw on here that I'm a okay with listening to.
Fire.
What's crazy about this album was when it came out, it was an instant classic, much like College Dropout. And I feel like it's over the years become underrated. Like it's a slept on Kanye album now.
Super slept on. Cal, last but not least, what you got?
I'm gonna go with Graduation as number one. Um, it's probably the easiest listen for a Kanye project.
Good morning.
Um, right? Yeah. Good morning. I mean, it's
Woo!
almost it's damn near a pop rap album, but it's also got so much soul in there. It's got so much hip hop at its core that it's unlike anything I've really ever heard. When Brandon mentioned Diamonds off of Late Registration, I was thinking like only Kanye can make a song called Diamonds from Sierra Leone and make it actually sound like it's Diamonds from Sierra Leone. And whatever this album cover is, that's what this album sounds like. Like it
Yes.
legit sounds like whatever the hell that's
Blasting off into
supposed to be,
space. Yeah, whatever it
right?
Yeah,
So
is.
only Kanye could have an album with flashing lights and Can't Tell Me Nothing on it. Back to back tracks, by the way. And those are two of my favorite songs ever. He's got Big Brother on there. He's got Stronger, which I don't love. That's like the lead single. But I mean, it's such a soulful album. And not for nothing, there's like after Graduation, his mom passes, we get 808s. We never see whatever version of Kanye we got on here. We never see that version again.
Ever
Like there's
again.
a distinct difference between Graduation Kanye and whatever came after, because obviously his mom unfortunately passes. Um, so it's really, I mean, with Kanye more than anybody, you can truly tell what's going on in his life just by what kind of music you're getting. Because his music's gotten more and more grandiose over the years. But I mean, Graduation is pretty close to peak Kanye. I mean, you can argue with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy too. I mean, he doesn't really fall off, but Graduation, that was the perfect mix of probably commercial and hip hop and whatever the Japan influence he's got going on here. Like it was such a mix of different sounds in this album, and he created a masterpiece.
I agree.
I agree.
It
That's
is a very good album.
so. I'm gonna cheat. I got a tie between Late Registration. I had Graduation, but then when he reminded me how much I loved Late
Facts.
Registration,
Facts.
he swayed my heart. So I'm gonna say both of them and leave it at that. Don't ask any questions. We just gonna leave it like that. All right, we got to get out of here. We're against the wall, but my main man Brandon showed up and showed out, and so did Cal, and we are from Warner Brothers Podcast. They come out here and they do their thing. I want you to give them all the info, guys. I want you to tell them about Warner Brothers Podcast. Warner Brothers Podcast. Gotta pronunciate.
Hey, Warner Brothers Podcast. Catch us on YouTube. See the YouTube page right there. Spotify, Apple Podcast. Always want to say Apple Music, but Keenan always reminds me it's Apple Podcast. Check out our TikTok page. We're on Instagram. Peep us there. We got the conversation going all around. John, you'll see John and Ray over there in the coming months. We'll be talking NFL, NBA, music, much like on here. Who knows what other topics we'll get into. Like I told John, the first time I came on here, I feel like John and Ray were like distant cousins, right? Like the vibe is so similar to what we got going on at the WBP. If you like this podcast, you'll love our podcast for sure.
Most definitely. Look who that is. There he is. There
There's
he
Petty right there.
is.
With the hat on today.
With the hat on. A very suave, cool hat, by the way. I like it.
Appreciate that.
And also, I want you guys to don't forget, I told you guys at the beginning, not you guys, but these guys out here in the chat, appreciate the chat for sticking around. There is homework. There is homework. Make sure you do your homework so that way you can pass the test. I want you to go over to Warner Brothers Podcast. Show it to you again. Boom. I want you to like, subscribe, and enjoy. Hit that notification bell so you know when they do what they do and you can enjoy it with them. I want you to head over to It's the Hype Real Podcast on all platforms. Like, subscribe, and enjoy. Hit the notification bell so y'all can know when we drop and we do what we do. And we're going to get out of here. I appreciate you guys for showing up. Appreciate the chat for holding on. And like I always say, and we'll always say, either be good or be good at it. All right? All right. Peace.